Can't save you there.
Oh, no, but I am a queen, my friend.
Track number 6, God Save the Queen.
But here is one of the most famous Sex Pistols songs there is, and one thing that I've always remembered is that sweet sliding guitar that starts it off. And so that's what kind of like what I always kind of figured was pretty solid punk music. Like that was actually kind of highbrow. So it really does show throughout this album so far that it's musically they're very tight, and this song is like one of those penultimate ones where it's super tight.
Yeah. And going back to that guitar progression and the chords, you hear versions of this today too, still to this day and long after when this album came out. And one thing that I noticed, and I didn't put in a ton of time to try to see if there was a connection, but you had brought up the connection earlier with Nirvana and Kurt Cobain and the simplicity of the chords. And that's what Kurt Cobain did too, is it was very power chord centric, wasn't complicated or complex music. Now, Nirvana didn't sound like punk music, but the chord structures and styles were the same. And so I was trying to find out if there was any connection between Kurt Cobain and punk music and the Sex Pistols. And I found he was a fan of the Buzzcocks and the Wipers. I wasn't able to find any direct connection to the Sex Pistols, but when you brought up Nevermind, it was like, oh, okay, there it is. I just wasn't able to research that. But you hear this style, that guitar that we're hearing now, carry on to even music that's still coming out today in 2021.
Oh, totally. And you really, and I think you see it a lot with that percussion in the background where this is where, after hearing several other songs before this, on this album, I fell in love more with Paul Cook on this song, because we get into the part where he's in like 157 where you really hear him rocking out at the end of that chorus piece, and he's just crushing it. It feels like almost Neil Peart is back there, and not just the style, but in the production version. Yeah, really mixed very well on this song.
Yep. And going back to the lyrics too, this is one of those, like, lyrically, I love this song. From the first verse, when he's so smarmy and sarcastic with it, and God save the Queen. But then here's the explicit fascist marks, fascist regime. They made you a moron, potential H-bomb. You're just ripping at the authority, and especially the British monarch. Even though it's largely symbolic, even at the time, it's still, you kind of question it, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of fucking weird if you think about it. Like, they still have this monarch with the queen and king, and people fawn over it. Now, I'm not blanketing all people from England, because I'm sure there's a lot of people in England who also are like, why the fuck are we still like idolizing these people? But a lot of people also really, really are into that, and the whole royalty thing, and, you know, princes and all that shit when they get married. So this to me is like that big, like, why the fuck are we worshiping these people like celebrities? And we see that a lot today, where people worship like leaders and politicians like they're fucking celebrities. And people put so much stake in these politicians like they're the saviors to the problem. You know, it's almost cultish in a way. Like, it is. Our whole society is like operating like a cult, you know, and this applies to all spectrums. Like, this isn't just a left or right thing. This is everybody. Like, people put so much stock in politicians and leaders like they're the ones who can save us. And I think the Sex Pistols are really getting at it here. Like, when you have basically a fake monarch, you know, they have really no authority, yet people like worship them like the ultimate authority, when people fought for hundreds of thousands of years to overturn a single dictator fascist ruler. Now they're worshiping them like some, you know, noble thing. So yeah, I can see why they would write this song.
Oh, totally. And if we go back to the second verse, it's the end of the second verse at 136 here. It really does tackle that fascistic ideology, and also about our kind of cultural fetish about children, where he sings, when there's no future, how can there be sin? We are the followers in the dustbin. We're the poison in your human machine. We're the future, your future. You know, so it's like playing like, oh my gosh, everybody says, well, children are our future, and you kind of overprotect them, then you you kind of over fetishize with them and stuff like that, where it's like, oh my gosh, it's just a wonderful line. Absolutely beautiful lyric there that really kind of attacks those ideas. Exactly what you were just talking about.
Yep. This guitar solo too at around 2 minutes 2:05, a little bluesy. So this is where I heard that. It's like, oh yeah, this is kind of bluesy too. Like, I think maybe Johnny Rotten was really like the totally anti-rock one, but the rest of the musicians, you got to learn hear music somewhere. Like, you don't just
must
pick
be
up
all
the
those
drums.
Beatles chords.
Yeah, you don't just pick up the drums or the bass guitar or the guitar and just start playing music. Like, you have to hear other music to be influenced. So it's almost impossible for them not to have some sort of influence, even if they supposedly hate at least the establishment that has been created around it since then.
Oh yeah, totally. And what's one of the best things about this song is that chorus where it sounds joyous and hopeful, but they're singing "No future for you."
Yeah.
It's just, again, more comedic gold from this lyrics, where it's like, it's that sad pity gold comedy that you ache for.
Yeah, really, really just rubbing it in. No future for you, baby. And that became, I didn't realize this, but it became kind of a rallying cry or slogan, the term "no future," especially with like any anti-fascist movement, and people would sing that a lot or say that a lot or use that a lot, and it's like, oh, I didn't realize that. But yeah, I mean, they do a great job with it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.